Welcome to another exciting episode from Marvelous Videos. I'm your host, Tia Ayer. It is with a heavy heart that we bring this video to you. The monumental and iconic Jason David Frank, who is renowned for his portrayal of Tommy Oliver and his various Power Rangers, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 49. Not only was he wonderful as a Ranger, but he was a wonderful human being as well. As such, Power Ranger fans, as well as the people involved in the show, have been having a hard time coping with the loss of such a great person. To show him our love and respect, we bring this video to you in order to commemorate the several Power Ranger mantles that Jason David Frank has donned throughout his career. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin.
Dragon Sword! I call on the power of the dragon!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Season 1, 1993 to 1994, Tommy Oliver, Green Ranger. Dr. Thomas Oliver, popularly known as Tommy Oliver, has been a Power Ranger for a duration longer than anyone else. Frank kickstarted his run with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, where he arrived as the antagonist Green Ranger. He debuted in the first season of the show, where he was a transfer student at Angel Grove High School. In high school, he fought against Jason Lee Scott, that is the Red Ranger, in a martial arts tournament. While Jason was the finest martial arts in his school, Tommy managed to tie with him, which unfortunately won him the attention of the evil sorceress named Rita Repulsa. Rita brainwashed Tommy into becoming the Green Ranger, using her secret 6th power coin, or the Dragon Coin. He would then go to do Rita's bidding and fight against the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. At first, Tommy downloaded a virus into the robot Alpha 5 to put the Power Rangers at a disadvantage. Following a fight with the Rangers, Tommy's Green Ranger was able to defeat them, which Rita used as a warning against her foes. Back in Angel Grove, his Power Ranger friends were unaware of Tommy being the man behind the Green Ranger mask. His whole fiasco with Rita was written off as a kidnapping. However, Kimberly, or Pink Ranger, started to notice how Tommy was acting rudely and had also missed their date. Rita later handed over the Sword of Darkness to Tommy in order to enhance his dark powers. However, it also helped her keep Tommy under her control. She then made him take Jason into the dark dimension, where Tommy almost impaled him. However, the other Rangers saved Jason in the nick of time, and Rita punished Tommy for his failure by keeping him trapped in the dark dimension. Later, after the villain Goldar attacked Angel Grove, the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers shifted their focus onto defending their school. Soon enough, Tommy entered the party to sabotage it, but by the end of the event, the Green Ranger's identity got revealed, and his friends learned that their enemy was none other than Tommy Oliver himself. Thankfully, the Power Rangers were able to figure out that Tommy was under Rita's spell, and Jason managed to destroy the Sword of Darkness eventually. This freed Tommy from the evil spell, and he soon became a part of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, while the others often created their Megazord, which is a giant robot that fights on a grand scale. Tommy had his own Zord, known as the Dragon Zord. With the Green Ranger by their side, the Power Rangers soon fused the Megazord with the Dragon Zord to create the Ultimate Ultra Zord. During Tommy's run as the Green Ranger, he was able to strengthen his bond with the other Rangers. He grew closer to Jason, who he had an initial rivalry with. He also dated Kimberly, but once after Tommy and Kimberly were done with their date, Goldar captured Tommy and took him back to the dark dimension. There it was revealed that Rita had used a magic wax to turn him evil before. This wax had also given him his powers. The magic wax was then turned into the green candle, which was made to burn. With the candle being burnt, Tommy would eventually lose his morphine powers. To prevent any interference from the other Rangers, Rita had sent the shape-shifting Cyclops to fight them while posing as Tommy's Dragon Zord to make them think that Tommy had turned against his allies. Ultimately, Tommy used Goldar's sword to return to Earth and fought the Cyclops alongside the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The other Rangers tried to retrieve the green candle to save Tommy's powers, but it was too late, and by the time that they had gotten the candle, it had burned off. Tommy then used the 6th Sense Power Coin, or the Dragon Coin, to pass down his abilities to Jason's Red Ranger. Tommy returned as the Green Ranger on Parents' Day, when Rita trapped the parents of the Rangers in the dark dimension to trade them for power coins. As Tommy grew concerned seeing that the deserted youth center, he was summoned to the Power Rangers Command Center. He decided to help his friends, and as such, Zordon gave him a massive power boost, temporarily making him the Green Ranger once again. With Tommy back in action, he aided the Rangers in their fight and even used his Dragon Zord to slay a giant monster. Tommy gained access to a force field that boosted his energy during that time and decided to continue being a ranger, despite knowing that his morphine powers were not permanent. Later, Rita's master, Lord Zed, came into the storyline and decided to end the Power Rangers once and for all. Zordon soon turned the Megazords into Thunderzords to make the Rangers strong enough to fight Zed. However, with Tommy not having enough energy to sustain his Thunderzord, Zed began to target him specifically as he stood out as the group's weak link. Tommy eventually started to dream about losing his powers, and Zed was responsible for giving him the nightmares. Eventually, his worst nightmare came true when Zed stole Tommy's morphine powers once and for all, completely depowering the Green Ranger.
Wait, Tiger Zord! Tiger Mode! Battle ready now!
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Season 2, 1994 to 1995, Tommy Oliver, White Ranger. Even though Jason David Frank's run as the Green Ranger had reached its end, his run with being Tommy Oliver and a Power Ranger surely had not. As Zordon and Alpha decided to use the white light of good to create a new Ranger, they obviously went with Tommy as their pick. And with the white light of good by his side, the darkness would never be able to steal or control Tommy's powers again. As the White Ranger, Tommy got a new sentient sword named Saba. He also became the leader of the Power Rangers this time. Soon, the Scarlet Sentinels arrived at the scene, bringing trouble for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Nimrod, the Scarlet Sentinel, damaged the Thunderzords while Rita Repulsa underwent a potential return. As these events transpired, Tommy was left to fight the foes along with his new White Tiger Zord. Ultimately, with help from Jason's Red Dragon Thunderzord and the Unicorn, Lion, Griffin, and Firebird Thunderzords, Tommy was able to fuse them into creating the Mega Tiger Zord, which defeated the Scarlet Sentinels. Tommy later found new allies in Rocky, Aisha, and Adam when Jason, Trini, and Zack transferred their morphine powers to the former three after the latter three were invited to the Teen World Summit.
Nice seeing you again, ma'am. Glad you're not hurt.
Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Season 2, 1994 to 1995, White Stranger, Wild West White Ranger. In the two-part episode called The Wild West Rangers, we got to know of Tommy's great-great-great-great-grandfather, the White Stranger. He was Tommy's Wild West ancestor. Meanwhile, Tommy did not have his morphine powers during this time, as the events took place after the loss of the Green Ranger Power Coin and the creation of the White Tiger Power Coin. In this arc, Kimberly was sent back to 1880 alongside Goldar, the Putties, and Needlenose. The villains were obviously focused on destroying Angel Grove in the past, which is strange considering the fact that ominous villains care so much about a high school. She got the power coins for the other Rangers from Zordon and handed them to William, Abraham, Miss Alicia, and Rocco in the 1880s. So she basically created the Wild West Rangers. The White Stranger came to the aid of the Wild West Rangers after they were ambushed by the Z-Putties, Goldar, and Needlenose. Kimberly's experience in the past was quite amusing, especially with the characters from the show having their lookalikes in the past. Things got even more confusing when Kimberly saw the White Stranger for the first time, who looked exactly like Tommy. The fact that these things took place while she was unaware of being in the past only made matters more interesting. After her return to the present, the White Stranger also met Kimberly's lookalike in his time. Considering how the two timelines mirrored each other's events, he probably ended up dating her just like Tommy does in the present. Power Ranger Zeo, 1996. Tommy Oliver, Red Zeo Ranger. Frank's Tommy Oliver took on the mantle of the Red Zeo Ranger in 1996's Power Ranger Zeo. Following the blow-up of the Zeo crystal, Tommy found it repaired under the wreckage. He harnessed the crystal's power to turn himself and his friends into the Zeo Ranger in order to defend Earth. And the Red Zeo Ranger, Tommy acquired access to his very own Zeozord 5 and Red Battle Zord. This was not the best time of Tommy's life, as Kimberly had broken up with him after falling in love with someone else. He also found his brother, David Trueheart, after having a prophetic dream about it. While Tommy had one half the arrowhead, David had the other. With the both halves conjoined, Bearer would gain control over the spirits in a hidden stone. Finding his brother was all fun and games until the villain, King Mondo, took advantage of this and captured David. But fortunately, Tommy was ultimately able to save him. The brothers then went on to keep their respective halves of the the Arrow. Tommy later met an alien from Treforia named Trey, who called himself the Gold Ranger. However, Trey needed a successor who would inherit his powers. Even though Tommy was not the one who would inherit them, he was the one who offered Jason the opportunity after the latter was done with his peace conferences. Tommy was later abducted by the Machine Empire and once again found himself being brainwashed to work for evil. He was made to believe that he was the king of the Machine Empire and had to fight the evil Power Rangers. Tommy was shown images of destruction caused by the Power Rangers. They were often the collateral of the Rangers saving the city from its end. But Tommy was brainwashed into believing that the Power Rangers were responsible for causing the damage out of their evil intentions. As such, Tommy fought his friends who were made to be his foes. Ultimately, the Rangers demorphed and showed their faces to Tommy to snap him out of the brainwash. Seeing his friends, Tommy was able to regain his old memories.
But you're not using your brain power.
Power Rangers Turbo 1997 Tommy Oliver Red Turbo Ranger 1. In 1997, Tommy and the Rangers defeated King Mondo. Jason returned the power of the Gold Rangers to Trey, but soon after, a space pirate named Divatox entered the fray as the new threat to fight off the new adversary. The Turbo Rangers were born with Tommy acting as the Red Turbo Power Ranger. Kimberly and Jason found themselves at risk of being sacrificed by Tommy. With the help of the Turbo Megazord, was able to save them. His new powers also resulted in him gaining an interest in cars. Later, Divatox shifted her focus to Tommy after learning that destroying him, that is, the leader, would help destroy the Rangers. Tommy was captured and Divatox tried to drop him into the vortex of eternal doom and sorrow. However, he was saved by a teenage boy known as Jarvis Johnson, who Tommy later transferred his powers to when he had to do so. Power Rangers Dino Thunder 2004 Tommy Oliver Black Dino Thunder Ranger. Jason David Frank's Tommy Oliver also appeared in the 2004 show known as Power Rangers Dino Thunder, where he acted as the Black Ranger. He was a science student in Reefside, California, the school attended by the Red, Blue, and Yellow Rangers. His past as a Power Ranger was unraveled by the other three Rangers, and Tommy became responsible for recruiting his students and making them the Dino Rangers. He had not become the Black Ranger yet, but after he learned of an evil named Mesogog being alive, he got his hands on a Dino Gem that turned him into the Black Dino Thunder Ranger. His characteristic dinosaur was that of the Brachiosaurus. The White Dino Ranger known as Trent appeared as a villain and caused Tommy to get encased in his morphed Power Ranger state as the Dino Gem, and Tommy's morpher continued to remolecularize. However, he still wanted to give Trent a chance as he himself had been the antagonist before, and as such felt sympathy towards the boy. Following an experiment, Tommy was able to demorph back into a human, but it shattered his Dino Gem and he entered a state of coma. He fought off his internal battles during this time, wherein he went against his previous Ranger egos. When he awoke victorious, he had a new Dino Gem with him that he had gained from his egos during the internal battle. This new gem also gave him the Super Dino mode. In the final battle of the show, Tommy helped Kira, the Yellow Ranger, in destroying the villain Zeltrax. The Ranger also sacrificed their gems to destroy Mesogog, and Tommy was finally able to retire as a Power Ranger. He continued to work as a science teacher, however. Jason David Frank, Legend of the White Dragon. Despite retiring, a fan project inspired the Power Rangers marked the return of Jason David Frank as a Power Ranger. The project known as The Legend of the White Dragon was created as a 2019 Kickstarter campaign after they had acquired $100,000 to produce the film. The story was set to be a more dystopian and gritty in nature compared to the other Power Ranger stories. The campaign ended up getting an overall funding of $500,000, which prompted the producers to create a feature film based on him. As such, Frank was all set to return to the screen as the titular White Dragon, this time with the name Eric Reed instead of Tommy Oliver. Reed was a disgraced hero who had gone into exile after a catastrophic event known as the Aftermath. The event had destroyed the city, prompting Reed to lose his battle as one of the city's protectors. However, as you may have already guessed, the return of evil prompted the heroes to reunite, and as such, Reed willed wielded the crystal that allowed him to turn into the White Dragon. According to Frank himself, Eric Reed was much different from Tommy Oliver. Apart from being the White Dragon, Frank had also reprised his Power Ranger role in newer occasions, such as Power Ranger Super Ninja Steel. However, The Legend of the White Dragon is set to release in 2023. Frank's untimely demise has naturally shaken fans of the Power Rangers franchise to the core, and as such, the fate of the movie remains unknown. But there is no doubt about the fact that Jason David Frank will remain irreplaceable. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.